Hello and welcome to the latest Watching Brief Breaking News Bulletin, and it's to do with the story that we've been covering really since day one last August, when the Crooked House pub in Himley in the West Midlands mysteriously burnt down on Saturday night, and even more mysteriously was demolished on the Monday following by its owners without the permission of the local authority. Staffordshire Police confirmed yesterday that 6 people remain on conditional bail in relation to the investigation into the alleged arson and unauthorised demolition of the Crooked House pub at Himley. It's near Dudley in the West Midlands. The news comes as South Staffordshire Council announced it's issued an enforcement notice requiring the 18th century pub building to be rebuilt in the form it had before it was gutted by fire. The burnt-out remains of the pub were demolished by its owner on the following Monday without permission. That's an action which is contrary both to planning regulation and to heritage guidelines. The enforcement notice, which has been published by South Staffordshire Council, confirms that at the time of the fire, the Crooked House, where customers could famously enjoy an optical illusion caused by the pub subsiding into old mine workings, and which made it look as though a coin could roll up the bar, was under consideration both for local heritage listing and for national listing by Historic England. Historic England said that they couldn't consider it any further because the building no longer existed, because it had been burnt out and then demolished. The enforcement notice was issued to 2 named individuals, Mr. George Adam Taylor, who's known as Adam Taylor, and Ms. Carly Taylor, who were reported to live near Lutterworth in Leicestershire, as well as to the company secretary of ATE Farms Limited and the owner-occupier of the land on which the historic and much-loved pub had stood. Now, the entry for ATE Farms Limited at Company's House reveals that George Adam Taylor is currently the company's only director, while Ms. Carly Taylor is also was also a director of the company, but she resigned in December 2023. Now, Mr. Taylor was also briefly a director of Himley Environmental Limited. Now, that company owns the landfill site, which is next to the site of the Crooked House. The named persons have 30 days to lodge an appeal against the notice. Otherwise, they have to complete the rebuild of the pub within 3 years. Now, in August 2023, days after the fire, the police announced that they were treating the fire as suspected arson, and it had been purchased by ATE Farms Limited from Brewer Marston's just 2 weeks before the fire broke out. Now, in the course of that investigation, a 66-year-old man from Dudley, which is nearby, and a 33-year-old man from Milton Keynes, as well as a 51-year-old man from Buckingham, were arrested and bailed. A 23-year-old man, a 34-year-old woman, and a 44-year-old man, all from Leicestershire, were also arrested and bailed. Now, police announced that the individuals arrested were questioned on suspicion of conspiracy to commit arson with intent, or being reckless as to whether life was being endangered. And as far as we know, those charges, charges could still stand as the investigation proceeds. I suspect we're going to be talking about the Crooked House and its fate again, although at the moment local people and the community in the West Midlands are celebrating the fact that at least it appears to have a new lease of life, in spite of the fact it was so badly treated back last August. Well, that was a brief news update about the Crooked House. But that brief news update actually has involved, for the both of us, about half a day's work. And in particular, we had to fact check it in detail and check with Staffordshire Police that the status of the police investigation was as we were going to describe it. There are strong legal defences around what you can and can't say when there's a live police investigation. That's why, although we make all our content free to access, we ask very kindly, very politely, if you could consider following the Watching Brief on Patreon and possibly buying the Pipeline News website a Ko-fi from time to time. If you can do that for us, we can bring you even more of this kind of content. Thanks. Bye.